Hello, Scream Demons, and welcome to the Screams from the Basement podcast.
This is the scariest horror podcast on this side of the Black Lagoon. Screams from the Basement discusses the best double features the genre has to offer. And I do mean that this week.
The best, simply the best.
Yeah.
But you know what else we do? We also interview the industry's finest that make our screams become nightmares. I am one of your creepy co-hosts. I'm Casey.
And I'm Sam the Damned, and let's get hooking.
We're just hanging out in the corner this weekend.
We are. We're not in the basement. We're on the street corner.
We're on the street corner. You got me money?
We're leaning into car windows and calling people Jersey boy.
And whipping our tits out as soon as we see that super crack. Because this week's double feature on the podcast has been a long time coming. One of the first double feature ideas we wrote down on our extensive list of double feature ideas. Two of the all-time classic horror films, with 1935's The Bride of Frankenstein and 1990's Frankenhooker.
You know, it's so weird. This is a great double feature, but these movies are classics for two very entirely different reasons.
We are literally going to cover the entire spectrum of horror probably in this episode today.
Yeah. It's a little strange.
Well, let's start with this.
Yeah.
So this is, if I'm not mistaken, is this our first Frankenstein episode?
I know we did.
No, we covered
Victor Frankenstein.
Which one?
Victor Frankenstein.
Victor Frankenstein. I think that
With
might have been our
Redfield.
first. I don't know why we started with that one, but we did.
That one, that doesn't count.
It's okay. The movie is fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're. I mean, Frankenstein. Let's start with that because we didn't really probably didn't touch on it a whole lot, and that was a very, very early episode of the podcast years ago now.
Yeah.
So let's start with Frankenstein. The story of Frankenstein. In my opinion, it's the greatest horror story ever told. Because of a multitude of options that you can take outside of that. You know, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, written by a female, was not as acclaimed during its time as it obviously is now. Has been adapted hundreds and hundreds of thousands of times into different stories. Then you had the universal version of Frankenstein, the Boris Karloff version, 1931, arguably one of the most iconic horror movies of all time. The version of Frankenstein, when you say that name, you picture Boris Karloff.
Yep, 100%.
And then in that almost 100 years since that movie came out, we've gotten countless adaptations of that. Of course, Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein was just a big winner at the Oscars this year. So it just shows that there's so many different things that you can do with that story, that mythology, that character, all going back to that original Mary Shelley novel from 200 years ago.
Yeah. So, like, we should probably, just bring up, like, our personal histories with Frankenstein in general. And then we'll get into, like, I guess our history with Bride, which mine is pretty innately tied to Bride anyways. But what is your history with Frankenstein?
Yeah, again, from an early age, it's one of the first horror memories I have.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of threefold. I read the great illustrated classics version of Frankenstein. That was probably my introduction to the character. You remember those books, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Where every page was like the actual written text, and then a pretty great illustrated image. And it was literally every other page was the illustration and then the text. So that was my first exposure to Frankenstein. Vividly remember that. There was also another novel floating around in the 90s. And I have it. It's packed up now. I'm packing my house. If you're watching this on YouTube, that's why it looks bare. And hopefully my audio isn't too bad because there's nothing on my walls right now. But I have that other novel that I read as a kid.
Right.
So I was a terrible reader, somehow read 2 different versions of Frankenstein as a kid. But I also vividly remember on TV seeing images of Frankenstein like running through the hills. Could I tell you if that was from the original Frankenstein or Bride of Frankenstein? Because they both feature him at some
Yeah.
point running in the hills.
Yeah. Bride is almost like Bride is a little bit like the Evil Dead 2 of the Universal monsters in the fact that it's
Yeah.
almost a straight up remake of the first one, just done on a bigger scale.
Yes, with more money, more
Yeah.
ideas thrown into it. So I don't know
Yeah.
which version of Frankenstein I watched first. It was just that image of the monster running through the woods.
Yeah.
And then also Alvin and the Chipmunks Meet Frankenstein was a staple. So I think all 3 of those things as a kid, probably exposed to all 3 of them around the same time, leading to my love of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
What about you? What was your introduction to the story of Frankenstein?
I think it starts with Burger King and these stupid little Universal monster toys that they had. I remember getting Frankenstein with a. Actually, I don't even think I think I got him at like a garage sale. I just saw him in like a box of like 25-cent Burger King toys, and I picked him up because I thought he looked cool. And I spent a couple of years just like thinking, oh, I want to see these movies. And one day I went into the library, and it was right after they had released those collections on DVD. You remember? I mean, like
I have some of them. Yeah.
Yeah, like I have the big Blu-ray set now of all of those collections, but they had the Frankenstein and the Dracula ones, so I was like, well, I'm gonna watch these. And I remember taking them home, like checking them out, taking them home, watching the first Frankenstein while everybody was out, and getting to Bride and getting to the opening. And my mom and my sister came home right at the time that Frankenstein was drowning the guy who was looking for his daughter or making sure that Frankenstein was dead, right? He's drowning that guy in the abandoned ruins of the windmill, and my mom made me turn it off because it was not appropriate for my sister to watch. And I'm like, this is like so tame compared to some of the other stuff.
Yeah, this is a black and white movie from
what are we doing?
50 years earlier? More than that, 60 years earlier, probably.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I was just like, okay, sure, whatever. And I turned it off and spent the rest of the day like just jonesing to finish that once everybody went to bed. And I did. And I watched so many of those Frankenstein movies just on that Blu-ray box set just over the course of like 3 days. And yeah, I ever since I've just been hooked. Like Frankenstein is my monster.
You've been Frankenhooked.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, anytime an adaptation comes out of this, any kind of riff on it, I love it. I'm all for it. And yeah, there are some bad ones, but most of them I like a lot, you know. There are very few Frankenstein riffs or adaptations that I'm like, no, that just didn't work for me at all. And I think that just comes down to the bones of this story being so still relevant today in so many ways, and being able to be interpreted so many ways.
Yeah.
You know, there are trans readings of Frankenstein. There's obviously a lot of queer readings. There's just in general
religious meanings.
Science versus faith. Yeah, like it's
or you have something like Frankenhooker that I guess touches on like gender politics in a way, but it's also like a schlocky New York City grindhouse gross out movie.
But it's also doing that with like the purpose of like the exploitation of sex workers and calling that out, and like there is a trans read, and there are people who think of it like there are a lot of trans people who look at Frankenhooker and they're like, it's a little transphobic, and there are a lot of trans people that look at Frankenhooker and go, wow, like that's like a trans allegory. And so when you're looking at these like things that have spawned from Mary Shelley's text, who herself was a young bisexual woman, like there are so many different layers to it that so many filmmakers and so many writers since have taken different nuggets of what that story meant to them and expounded upon them. And that's why when people complain about the Guillermo del Toro one missing the point of the book, I'm like, no, he just missed your point of the book, the one that you cared about the most. Like, there's so much there. Let's not, I don't know.
It's
Crazy to
arguably the
me.
close, like, just to kind of touch on that for a second, because it's the most recent adaptation of Frankenstein. It's probably the closest to the book, and it still is playing with that mythology.
Yeah, 100%.
And doing new things with it. So I think, again, as close as you can get to it, you still add your own voice and flavor to it. And I think today's double feature is a perfect example of two directors at arguably the top of their craft, wholeheartedly giving their voice to the story of Frankenstein. Like their 100%. Singular voice to it. So should we jump into it?
Let's jump into it.
All right, so let's jump into first things first. We're going to go to 1935. Almost 100 years ago. We just celebrated the 90th anniversary last year with The Bride of Frankenstein. Universal Pictures classic, directed by James Whale, written by William Hurlbut, starring and returning back to the series Colin Clive as Dr. Henry Frankenstein, Boris Karloff as the monster, and Elsa Lanchester as Mary Shelley, and the bride the bride portrayed by question mark?
Yeah.
Sam, The Bride of Frankenstein. For those who don't know, what is The Bride of Frankenstein?
Well, at its source, I think it's a rom-com about two undead people that find... I'm just kidding. It's totally not that at all.
It's a rom-com about two gay scientists getting together to create life.
Exactly. Yes. While the ruins of the windmill and his creation are still smoldering, Dr. Henry Frankenstein gets a visit from an old college professor / colleague / possible lover who wants him to come away from his newly wedded wife, come away from his honeymoon, and come make life with him in his castle with his little miniature kids. And meanwhile, the monster, very much not dead, very much sad and alone and abandoned and a little pissed off, rightfully so, is wandering through the countryside, making friends and enemies. And how are these two stories going to collide? Well, it explodes in the end, so, get ready for it. Bride of Frankenstein.
The Bride of Frankenstein.
Oh, this is so good. I actually, I had already watched it, and I put it on VHS today before this, just because I was like, I just want to pop this on again and just soak it in, it's just... This is one of the greatest movies ever made,
Yes, I was just going to say it is top 5 horror movies of all time. And one of the greatest movies, period, of all time.
Yes.
It is. And here's the crazy thing. So, kind of looking back at 31's Frankenstein, James Whale's original version, with Karloff, coming right out of the silent era, right into the Universal Monster era of talkies, where you have Dracula and Frankenstein both come out 1931. Dracula, very much like a stage adaptation brought to film, versus Frankenstein, very cinematic, especially for 1931 from James Whale.
Yep.
But and then a few years later, obviously we get the sequel, The Bride of Frankenstein, and it's just how do you perfect perfection is what this movie is, because I consider the first Frankenstein a perfect movie.
It is. It totally is. Yeah.
It's a 5 out of 5. It's a 10. Like, whatever you want to call it.
It's one of the greatest movies ever made.
Yes.
So and it seems like it'd be impossible to top.
Somehow, James Whale makes an even more perfect movie.
Yeah.
How does that make sense? there's no way to explain that. I think it's just
Yeah.
he made a more perfect movie.
Yeah.
End of
It's
conversation.
true.
Let's move on to Frankenhooker.
Yeah.
No, there's so much in this movie though that makes it an all-time classic horror picture, an all-time classic movie, an all-time classic in every sense of that word.
Mhm. Well, I mean, just from the framing device alone of it being the weekend that Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein, where she's with, you know, Percy Shelley, Lord Byron, like all of those people. Jesus Christ, Boris. And
Boris, you're not in this movie yet. Chill out.
it's just yeah,
Yeah, that
it's kind
framing
of
device
nuts. Like
of them telling the story. It's really like I can't think of an earlier movie that does that framing device because it's something we do
yeah,
see today where it's like someone telling the story of the movie you're about to watch. Princess
well,
Bride maybe being the most famous example of that,
yeah,
where it's,
and
you
it
know, the
adds this like
grandfather telling the
meta-ness to it.
yeah,
Yeah.
telling the grandson the story. Versus here, this is literally setting right up into the movie of, oh, here's your recap from Frankenstein from 4 years earlier because
Yeah.
we didn't have
Brilliant way
VHS.
to do the horror recap.
Yeah. And also, by the way, that was a terrifying story, one of the greatest stories ever told. That's only half of the story. Here's the rest of it. Such a great way to frame this movie. It's a perfect sequel. Like you said, it's that Evil Dead 2 quality of, oh, we're going to do some of the same stuff from that first movie, but even better.
hmm Yeah, like you still have angry mobs chasing Frankenstein through the forest. You still have, you know, all of these
Mad
all of these
scientist Dr.
people.
Frankenstein. You have
Yeah,
all of that stuff.
you have Frankenstein coming across like children and coming across different people and interacting with them in various ways. Like the only thing that's kind of different is the order in which all of these things happen. Like the creation is the third act. Whereas like it's almost like they, in Frankenstein, it's creation followed by Frankenstein venturing out into the world and then the mob chasing him, right? This movie starts with the mob, goes to Frankenstein wandering around, and then you get the creation. It's almost like it does the first movie in reverse.
Yeah.
And it's such a brilliant like reversal of that
I'd
plot.
be I'd also be curious to look at the runtime of characters in both of these movies. How much screen time is given to Henry Frankenstein in 31's Frankenstein versus Bride, and same with Frankenstein's monster. How much screen time is given to them? Because I would not be surprised if it's almost flip-flopped in the amount of
Yeah.
screen time, because we follow the monster far more in this one, obviously, because the first one
Yeah.
is building up to that reveal of Karloff. Here, with like Karloff is the main character. Frankenstein's monster is the main character. The B plot is Colin Clive's Henry Frankenstein.
Yeah, exactly. And like his struggles with Dr. Pretorius coming back to, basically pull him back into his mad science circle again. Like and I love the idea that like this is a guy that he held in such high regard in university, but like is clearly not completely right. And it kind of begs the question like would Henry have truly gone mad if he had not had a mentor like Dr. Pretorius? Like how much of Henry's insanity in the first movie was maybe spurned on by Dr. Pretorius? Like
Yeah, because it's in university, because I mean Henry is what, probably in his 30s in these
maybe,
movies.
yeah.
So
Like
for sure, probably out of university for 10 years, let's say.
yeah.
Like obviously in those 10 years prior when he was in university, him and Pretorius had to have talked about creating new life. It's a
hmm
very big interest for both of them. There's no way they
Yes.
did not talk about it when he was a student.
Right.
So yeah,
Well,
it's that
obviously,
nature
because like
versus nurture
Pretorius
thing.
has actual life, like just miniaturized,
Yeah.
essentially. They've both been working on this. Pretorius has one piece of the puzzle, and Frankenstein has the other, you know?
I wanna talk about that for a second. We'll kind of jump around this movie, but since we're on that topic, the miniatures, the mini people.
Yes.
Pretorius kind of has it like figured out for the most part. Arguably, his creation of man is far superior to Henry Frankenstein's, right?
Yeah, because he's not digging up bodies and like cutting them up and stitching them together.
And turning him literally into human monsters.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
it's just his are like 8 inches tall.
Yeah, he can't figure out how to power a full-sized, organically grown body. So they kind of like mash up their methods, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. The science is mumbo jumbo science, but also the science of Frankenstein in general has always been mumbo jumbo science. Like what if?
Yeah.
You know, he's brought, like, the monster's brought to life by lightning. That's not how science works.
Yeah.
But in the world of Frankenstein, that's how that works. But the little people that he has growing in those jars, this movie invented tiny terrors.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
tiny
one of the
terrors
first
now exists. Charles Band's entire career exists because of the Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah. And like these special effects, can you imagine seeing this in 1935? Like that's
I would think there was a 7-inch person.
Yeah, right? Like it's crazy, you know? And I love how whimsical it is while it's also tinged with this darkness. Because, like, every time Pretorius comes in, like, there's those ominous music stings. Everybody except for Henry, and even Henry, to an extent, seems pretty wary of him. But, like, Una O'Connor in this, and here's where I tell you, that's how Bride is more perfect than Frankenstein, is the first Frankenstein does not have Una O'Connor in it.
Yeah, she's wonderful. I mean... Okay, I mentioned that this movie like invented tiny terrors. Tiny terrors exist because of Bride of Frankenstein. I would argue campy horror films exist because of Bride of Frankenstein.
Oh yeah, because it's opening,
so campy.
The opening is so ridiculous because it's the herd of the angry mob of people watching the burned down remains. Like I said, like the little girl who he accidentally killed in the first one. Her parents go down and into the like watery area underneath the windmill to make sure he's dead, and he kills them. And it's a terrifying, like truly awful scene. But above everybody, like up there watching from a distance, is Una O'Connor. And her facial expressions, everything that she's doing to react when the monster emerges, so goddamn funny. She is like the OG Scream Queen, and her scream is hilarious. It's so good. The noises that she makes are like... the stuff of legend.
Yeah.
And
the noises, the facial reactions, the double takes to seeing the monster, like pure camp.
Like she's amazing, and she's not in this movie a whole lot, but when she is, she's stealing every scene.
I think she's in it the right amount for this movie.
Oh yeah,
this movie is only an hour and 15 minutes.
Yep,
short film, but. Yeah, it just uses every bit of that runtime.
Yeah, it does. Like, it's always on to the next thing. There's never a dull moment.
Jumping back to Pretorius. Yes. He has so many iconic lines in this movie. And I want to throw out a couple of them here. As we get to him and Dr. Frankenstein working together for the first time in this movie. When they first meet, he says, "Do you like gin? It's my only weakness."
Yes, I love his only weakness.
His only weakness, because he says it later on in the movie, too, about smokes, right?
Yeah.
His only weakness to the monster. Yep. And then, of course, we get the great line, "To a new world of gods and monsters."
Mm-hmm.
We get the great movie, Gods and Monsters, about the making of this movie. Just throwing that out there.
So good. So
Yeah.
good.
A movie we will eventually cover where Ian McKellen plays James Whale.
Yeah, because
Speaking
Brendan
of James
Fraser's
Whale,
in that too, right?
yes,
Yeah, yeah.
he plays.
He's like the love interest, isn't he? The pool
Yes.
boy.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. God, it's been a while since I've watched that,
Yeah.
but it is.
Fantastic
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
We got to talk about James Whale because James Whale, during this time, 1935, was an out gay director in Hollywood, one of the
Yep.
only out gay directors, very open about it. And you can see that sensibility in this work
Oh yeah, yeah.
of his voice very clearly present throughout this entire movie. Not that it wasn't present in Frankenstein. I still think that's a very James Whale movie.
But this is a more confident movie, and
Yes.
it's got more of, I mean, when you watch more James Whale movies, it's very clear that Frankenstein was him like testing the waters in this new studio setting,
Yeah.
this talking picture like kind of thing. And you know, Old Dark House was what, 32?
Yeah. Old Dark House was right after Frankenstein, then
Yeah.
Invisible Man, and then this one. Like I think that's
Yeah.
his run.
And
Like
you
what
see,
a run. Oh my
oh,
god.
such a run. And like you see his humor developing in those other ones immediately. Like Old Dark House is a very funny movie. Invisible Man is almost just straight up dark comedy, barely horror in my opinion. But I mean it is horrific, but like in the
In a dark
funniest
comedy
way
way, yeah.
possible. Yeah. And then like Bride of Frankenstein is that like it still has that Greek tragedy aspect of the first movie, but it does it with such a like tongue-in-cheek, self-referential, like just hilarious way. The tone of this movie is perfect. It it's so funny, it's so charming. You're laughing through so much of this, and but that end still just devastates. It's truly like one of the worst endings for like honestly for everyone involved. I'm even gonna put Henry and Elizabeth in that because like yeah, they got away, but like they're not gonna be the same after this. That honeymoon is ruined.
Yeah.
It's a doomed marriage.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tragedy for everyone in this movie.
Yeah.
No one's
Yeah.
safe. No one gets out of this unscathed. And yeah, like you said, James Whale's confidence, his voice shines through. Like in the
Yeah.
first one, obviously, there's the line that got cut from that movie for the longest time. Now I know what it feels like to be God.
Yep.
He's like, okay, you're going to cut that out of this movie. Okay, now this time the monster is Jesus. And we're going to crucify the monster. Literally tie him up and crucify him.
Yeah.
It's such a brilliant use of imagery where the mob is chasing the monster through the woods. Dogs are after him. They catch him pretty early in this movie and literally string him up to a giant log and try to crucify him.
Yeah. It's brutal. Like it's for 1935, like it's an insanely dark movie.
And overtly like saying something about religion.
Religion being any kind of outsider in those kinds of communities. It's like
I mean, there's a point where the monster is running through a graveyard and literally like topples over a tombstone and is standing there with like this giant Jesus statue. And it's very, very, very much framed of like, this is what you should be looking at. Jesus next to the monster.
yeah. So like and here's the thing. This is what people mean when they say like horror is queer. Horror has always been queer. Horror is political. Horror has always been political. I don't
Horror's
know.
elevated.
Yeah, like here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you are one of those people that's like, "Oh, not all horror is queer and blah blah blah." Like, okay, yes. Yes. There are tons of straight dude bros that make horror that is not queer in any sense, and I totally get that. But you know what? There is like the roots of this entire genre are queer. The ideas of being an other and the other being something that is scary, that is inherently queer. Like, horror has
Queer,
always been,
feminine,
yeah, like,
outsiders,
yeah,
anti-religion, woke.
yeah, any kind of anti-establishment, like, and that's the thing, like, people now are just like saying things like, well, like, horror wasn't like this when I was watching it, and I'm like, the first time I watched Bride of Frankenstein, I was not thinking about the gender politics of Bride of Frankenstein. I was not thinking about the queer reading of Bride of Frankenstein. I was watching a fun monster movie that I was just like, oh yeah, this is cool. Frankenstein is cool. I didn't think deeper about maybe why I related to him. I didn't think deeper about any of those things. But you know, as you get older, you start to think about those things. You start to develop these ideas and relate to things and know why you're relating to them. And I think that scares people. So if you're one of those people that is going to hear us say, this story is queer, or this story has, or the genre has a deep history of being queer or being outside, just stop, take a breath. We'll get through this together. But horror is queer, and that is okay. Like,
Horror
you
is
know,
better because it's queer.
it's better because it's queer, and it is okay to like it, even if you're not in that. Like, you know, it's just, come on. Queer people have been liking straight dude stuff for decades.
And it's not as good.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Hostel 2 is not Bride of Frankenstein, all right?
No, what's funny? As soon as you said, like, okay, yeah, sure, there's dude bros that make movies
You went
that
immediately to Eli Roth.
immediately thought of Eli. I'm not saying, like, he's, like, homophobic or doesn't make movies for queer people. I just, that Hostel was the first thing that came to mind. I'm like, that is the most, like, the furthest thing you could be from, like, a queer-coded movie, I guess.
Yep.
Crazy.
100%.
Anyway, I'm gonna go on my tangent now.
Okay.
About the topic of elevated horror. That dirty word.
Yeah.
Okay? It's a word that I feel like came about with Get Out. I think Get Out was kind of the one where people started calling things post Get Out elevated horror, if I'm not mistaken. That's kind of when I first was hearing about it.
Yeah.
And that's what they used to refer to, like, Hereditary was elevated horror.
Mm-hmm.
Bring Her Back is elevated horror. Weapons is elevated horror. All these movies that would get nominated for awards were elevated horror or in awards contention. Something that they used that had, like, some thematic value to it.
Mm-hmm.
And said something about
as
politics,
if Final
religion.
Destination doesn't already say anything about our relationship to mortality and death. Like,
well, and here's the thing: horror's always been elevated.
Yeah,
always. You look at 1931's Frankenstein; it's quote unquote elevated horror.
Yeah.
Anything
with guys, it's not just about a monster.
Yeah. You look at the movies from the 80s, where it was arguably the most popcorn schlocky movies of the time. Quote unquote, elevated horror still existed then. Society is elevated horror. Frankenhooker is elevated horror by the definition of what that is supposed to mean.
Honestly, all of Henenlotter stuff, elevated horror.
Yes. And that's why I think it's time we just get rid of that term.
Yeah.
It's a bullshit term that film bros, and I'm calling out the film bros, they love us on this podcast. I'm calling out the film bros that elevated horror is a bullshit term made up by film bros that felt the need to deem horror something lesser than, but only like it when it's quote unquote elevated. Mm-hmm. all
Well,
horror is elevated. Well, not
and
all.
that's
Hostel 2 is not elevated. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, the great horror movies, the great genre pictures are elevated already. We don't need a term for it.
The thematic depth of the Baby Oopsie movie deserves its own video
Goddamn
essay.
right. Can I find an elevated horror movie in Charles Band's filmography? Actually, I probably could.
Yes, head of the family.
Actually, yeah.
I mean, genuinely, like that movie does say some stuff. So,
I don't think you're wrong.
or hideous, just for the one scene of Jacqueline Lavelle. I
And
am
Woman,
woman,
Hear Me Roar.
hear me roar. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, speaking of I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar, The Bride. We got to talk about The Bride.
We do.
But before we get to The Bride, because that's what's that?
We should talk about the Hermit before we talk about.
I was just going to get to that because I was like,
okay,
we are on the edge of getting to The Bride, which is something we have to talk about, obviously, in The Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
But the Hermit scene with Frankenstein, okay. This is my favorite scene in this movie. The Hermit and Frankenstein goes to visit. Here's this guy playing violin, ends up being an old blind hermit living out in the woods. Invites Frankenstein's monster into his little hut, offers him food, drink, smoke, good.
Yes.
And they develop this friendship very quickly. Again, two outsiders, kind of shunned by society. Both have some form of disability or are different from the outsiders. We have a blind man. We have, at that point, the monster who cannot speak. And is also deformed. Is burned. Literally is burned.
Yeah.
And the two become friends immediately. It's like we are two outsiders that need each other in this moment, in this time.
Yeah.
And it's such
beautiful.
a great... It is. And you have where the hermit feeds Karloff, gives him food, gives him drink. And it's like, all right, you need to go to bed. And starts playing like the violin. And you see like that single tear coming down Karloff's face as he's laying in bed. It's
incredible.
It's incredible. It's one of the great scenes in any horror movie.
I know Karloff.
And again, tragedy, a Greek tragedy of how that ends up. It's my favorite part of the book as well. It's my favorite part of Del Toro's Frankenstein movie. I think it's just, for me, what the monster is that.
Yeah. I mean, that's the heart of the story.
Yeah, it's like you could make a short film of a monster running away from a mob in the woods, meets an old blind hermit, they become friends, someone comes along, screws it up for them, and the hermit ends up dying, usually. Doesn't die in this one. But usually, like in the book, he dies, and Frankenstein, Del Toro's Frankenstein, he dies.
Yeah.
And again, it's the tragedy of the monster wrapped up into this one scene.
Well, and I even think, I know they don't kill the hermit. They don't kill the blind hermit in this one. But like it still manages to mine that tragedy just because the mob comes in and they just, even though the hermit is like, no, this man is my friend, they will not let Karloff live in peace. Like, and it is, like, that might be the most potent social commentary, is like, they don't kill the hermit just for associating with him. They're like, no, that guy's an other, and he cannot hang out with anybody who we deem normal in society. You know, like
we've already banished you from society for being a blind hermit.
Yeah, don't make your lot worse by lumping in with this guy.
Yep.
You know, yeah,
kind
it's
of
insane.
prevalent today.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck guys. All right. Let's go to the monster meeting Pretorius. We got to talk with this because I mentioned Pretorius's lines in these movies. Another great one here. Yep. The two meet down like in the cellar as Pretorius is getting more body parts to build the bride. And he realizes basically, okay, if I'm going to get Henry fully on board with this, I need the monster on my side. And gets him on his side. We have Karloff's great line delivery. I love dead, hate living.
Yeah.
And you have immediately Dark Line, followed by Pretorius. You're wise in your young age.
Yes. Yeah, this whole meeting between the two is great. And it's it's the catalyst for that third act. It's how Pretorius gets the monster under his thumb so that he'll threaten Victor in order to get what Pretorius actually wants and what he's making the monster believe he wants. He's taking advantage of the monster's need for a friend by offering him a being he cannot create without Victor's help, and then immediately pinning that on Victor. And that is such a manipulation, and it's such a sleazeball move.
It's not overt like modern movies would make it either.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not
Feels all very character based.
Yeah. He's not like Frankenstein doesn't leave and he goes, "Ah, yes, now whereas like now on any movie you're going to watch, especially on streamers, as soon as Frankenstein were to saunter off, Pretorius would be sitting there twirling his mustache, either talking to a henchman or just to himself, because that's what we do now. And it's insane.
I mean, can you blame the monster here? All he wants is 3 things. He wants drink, smoke, and a wife.
Yeah.
That's all he wants.
Yeah. I get it.
What else do you need?
So, as we get into this ending, you've heard about the original plan for the ending being Elizabeth's heart that they put in the bride, right?
I have not heard that. I know there are other versions of Bride of Frankenstein that either were written or they even shot some stuff that does not make it into this movie.
Yeah. So apparently one of the initial ideas, and I don't know how far it got. I don't know if they filmed it and it was just like, no, this is too dark. We can't do this. But apparently the original ending was going to be that Pretorius's assistant, when he went to get a fresher heart, just went to Elizabeth's cell and killed her and took her heart. And that's why the bride was attracted to Henry instead of to the monster. And I think they just deemed it was too dark, and so they changed it to just some woman on the street. Yeah. But
I agree with that. I do think that's probably too. I think that's that.
It's
are
that
we going?
line.
Yeah. Are we going one step too dark, where this movie rides that fine line of darkness and humor?
Mm-hmm.
Where I think that pushes it over the edge into the dark.
I think a more modern movie that focuses more on like the gravity of it and doesn't have any humor in it could pull that ending off. I don't know if
also
this is the movie to pull that off.
There's a lot more with the henchmen in a different cut of this movie. They shot a lot more with who's the actor that plays the henchman? He's in a bunch of these Universal movies. Now I can't remember his name. But there was going to be more with him. He's
Dwight Fry.
Dwight Fry. There was going to be a lot more with him in this movie because he's not really in it a whole lot. He's kind of there with like Pretorius in the underground getting body parts and then kills that random woman to get fresh parts for Dr. Frankenstein.
Right.
But there was a lot, like he had a whole like subplot that they cut out of this movie. I think for the better. I mean, this movie just constantly moves. I love so we get into the third act here where they are just getting ready to build the bride, bring the bride to life. Like, I feel like the score here feels like a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just like kind of has that motion of in, out. Like a heartbeat is thumping.
Just the sound design of the heartbeat when they actually do get it thumping is so good. I mean, we watched this at the State Theater a few years back, and we sat like 3 rows in front of the screen, and I almost wished I had brought earplugs to that because it was like when it got to that third act, the sound was so all encompassing. It was so intense and it was so just like I was like, oh damn. Like
Yeah. Also, that has
you
been a
feel the chaos.
tradition of mine at the State Theater. Whenever they play a Frankenstein movie, I've seen Frankenstein, Bride, and Young Frankenstein there. It's
Okay.
always second or third row, right in the middle. I'm like, I just want Frankie right in front of me.
I love that. I know they play Young Frankenstein once every couple of
So
years. I have to get to it at the state sometime because it's such a perfect movie.
It's on our list of double features to do.
Yeah.
Young Frankenstein and Son of Frankenstein.
Oh, we didn't pair it with Dracula Dead and Loving It?
No, we covered that on a different show.
Yeah, we did.
Like, of all the Universal movies that Young Frankenstein, I think, takes the most from, I think it's Son of Frankenstein, honestly.
Oh, I 100% agree, yeah.
And yeah. I like Son of Frankenstein. I think it's
I do
not
too.
it's not as good as these two, obviously, but it's like...
It's solid.
Well, yeah, really good.
It's better than a lot of the other Universal sequels that come later.
Like, 100%.
Yeah.
There's a funny moment here where like Frankenstein's monster is just getting pissed. I don't know why he's getting pissed. I think he's just getting impatient, especially like with these henchmen that are up on the roof, and he just yeets one.
Oh my god,
so
that's one of my favorite parts. Is when he just gets pissed off, and he just literally picks up a henchman and tosses him right off the tower, and Pretorius doesn't give a fuck.
No. It probably makes Pretorius like the monster even more.
Yeah. Pretorius is a fucking psychopath.
Yeah. Then, of course, you get the creation of the bride. She's brought back to life, much the same as the monster is.
Iconic fucking look.
Iconic look. They unwrap her. She's standing there in between Frankenstein and Pretorius. Then you get Pretorius doing a very feminine hand gesture, we'll say.
Yes. Oh, yeah. He's
the Bride
theatrical.
of Frankenstein. And you get the musical cue. It's so good.
Yeah. Something tells me that Pretorius is doing drag in nightclubs elsewhere.
As the
you know
bride.
What I mean? Yeah, 100%. He definitely styled the bride based on his own, drag
Dr.
persona.
Frankenstein's we need hair because, the head we found, the hair is starting to fall out. And Pretorius is I got something.
Yeah.
He pulls out his drag wig, and it's the bride's hair.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I wanna do a remake of the Bride of Frankenstein from Pretorius's point of view, and it's definitely gonna have him as his drag alter ego.
Yeah. Okay, so I mentioned earlier we have to talk about the bride, and we're at the point where we can talk about the bride. Do you think there's enough of the bride in this movie? Because I think that's one thing I hear people talk about when they talk about the Bride of Frankenstein negatively, which isn't very often, or a huge negative. I think most people, maybe it's more of a surprise of how little she's in this movie, because she is in this movie the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, she's
but I think
very little screen time.
I think it works for what the story is. I don't know what else you could do with her.
Mm-hmm.
In this movie in particular, with the Bride of Frankenstein, any longer than she's in it.
Yeah, the story this is trying to tell isn't really from that perspective. And I mean, I understand people's disappointment. I kind of wish that she would have popped up in a sequel. For people who are well, did you see the end of this one? I'm yeah, okay, but Frankenstein died too, and he shows up in other ones later. Yeah. It's a monster movie. The monsters always come back. I do wish we would have gotten some form of the bride in the Universal monster canon. Obviously, we've gotten so many, other things.
And I think that's what it is. Is how many times the bride or the look of the bride has popped up in other things pop culture-wise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
From cereal, from Scooby-Doo, cartoons.
Frankenweenie, the poodle that gets the electric shock has the bride hair for the rest of the movie.
I think it just goes to show how iconic with how little amount of screen time she has in it.
Yeah.
Of you think she's in it a lot more. But I think in service of the story, hell, even the bride has I think the bride has an arc in that 5 minutes.
And like
It's inherently tied to Frankenstein, like the monster Frankenstein, but it's still an
right.
arc.
And I don't necessarily think that this movie is like trying to be malicious in the fact that like she doesn't have a lot of agency. Like I think that's them being realistic about that situation. Like I don't think her creation is painted in a positive light at all. I mean, Henry for the entire movie is against it. He's like, "No, I don't want to do this. This is not like the first time I did it, it went horribly wrong. I have tremendous guilt over it, and I don't want to be
Yeah, what makes you
responsible
think
for."
this is going to be even better?
Yeah.
And here's the
And
thing.
so
It's the same result.
yeah, it's and
It's
and
the fuck around and find out. Guess what? We
right.
found out. Here comes Dr. Pretorius, crazy psycho, who's like, well, with my
Mhm.
genius, we can perfect it. And guess what?
Yeah.
We fucked around and found out again.
Yeah. Well, and that's what it is. It's one of those things where neither of these two are the hero of the movie. Like, and even the monster is in a morally gray area at the end. I mean, he decides that the bride is just going to die with him, which is like, okay, dude, maybe let her make that decision.
I think that's
But
also him looking at, in a way, looking in a mirror. You know,
mhm,
obviously she's a different being than him, but he at that point has now gained the wisdom of living in the world, realizing that he is kind of an abomination.
mhm,
He shouldn't be here, like he shouldn't have been created. Now they've done it again. He's realizing, oh, in creating quote unquote a monster, they're the monsters, obviously. I mean, that's the whole moral of the story at the
well,
end. We belong dead. Like he's the one giving. I think he, in a way, is kind of speaking for. Maybe this isn't a great way to look at it. That he is speaking for both himself and the bride. But I think it's just
yeah,
because the bride hasn't
found her voice
developed
yet.
like he has.
Right.
Like given
Well,
a
and
seat, like let's say the bride and him were created at the same time. I feel like we're still at this same conclusion. If that makes
I
sense.
do think like his "you stay" isn't directed at the bride. It is
Oh,
directed
it's
at
at Pretorius.
Pretorius. And so I don't know. Like I also think that if you're looking at this movie and reading into it and doing these things, you also have to realize that like a movie that was made over 90 years ago is not going to hold up perfectly to today's social like commentary standards, right? Like if you do have a problem with the bride not having enough agency, like yeah, I mean, it was 1935. This was progressive for the
Yeah.
time, you
I
know?
also think, though, on the other hand, you have Elizabeth, who very much does and keeps telling Frankenstein, stay away from this crazy weirdo.
Yeah.
We need to get out of here.
It's
Like,
that
why?
age-old horror trope, right?
Yeah.
Listen to the woman, and you probably won't get fucked with,
Yep.
like it's alien, it's the alien concept. It's drawing a blank on any other things, but like that is a widely common like if you just listened to the female that is very clearly like the woman who is very clearly telling you, "Hey, this is a bad idea." You probably wouldn't be in the situation that you are in the third act of whatever movie you're in. It's like Unfriended Dark Web. They should have just listened to the lesbians.
Sure. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, we've unpacked so much of this last 5 minutes of this movie of different readings of what it could be. I mean, in the end, it's the monster kind of making the decision, the realization of we belong dead, of like we've been created by these crazy people.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the right decision? I don't know. Like you know,
Well,
again, the monster
that's kind
falls
of the
in that
beauty of it.
morally gray area. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, he did kill people that he should not have killed. He's also a creation of man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's so many different things that you can read into this.
Yep.
perfect movie. It's a perfect movie. It's questions that we will continuously ask for the next 90 years as we look back upon The Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Perfect movie. 5 out of 5. No notes. Just the last 54 minutes of notes.
Yeah, it is. It's a masterpiece. It's 5 out of 5, and there's not a. It might be one of just the best. It's like the first horror sequel, and it might be one of the best of all time. Still, honestly.
Yeah.
So.
Any other notes or tidbits about The Bride of Frankenstein? All I have is I watched this like behind the scene making of. I think it's from that DVD set that you mentioned. But like Joe Dante hosted it. They had Clive Barker on it. They had Karloff's daughter on it. All these people talking about Bride of Frankenstein. But Karloff's daughter mentioned that Karloff was not happy with the monster talking. He firmly believed that the monster should not talk in this movie. Once the movie turned out as it is, a perfect movie, I think he even admitted, yeah, that was the right call.
Yeah. I know, I know that was a big source of contention for him. I know that at one point Colin Clive wasn't even going to be attached to this because him and James Whale had a bit of a falling out. Like the behind the scenes of this is actually kind of messy.
Yeah.
So it's amazing that this is what ended up happening with it. I don't know.
And if you couldn't tell, is it Ernest Thesiger, right? Maybe. Right, Dr. Pretorius?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. He was a theater actor who James Whale knew. If you could not tell from his acting in this movie.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, dude was definitely a theater kid.
Yep. All right. Well, that has been The Bride of Frankenstein. No sequels featured The Bride. Of course, we did get a couple more Frankenstein sequels. Son of Frankenstein was the last Karloff Frankenstein movie. The Bride has also appeared in countless other adaptations. And, of course, this year. Was it this year? The Bride. This year. Yeah.
This year.
Which I have not watched yet. I am excited to watch it.
I still have to see it, yeah.
It was unfortunately in and out of theaters very quickly. Yeah. But very much excited to watch that. All right, Sam, should we get to our first ad read of the show?
Let's do it. Let's get to the first ad read.
Let's get to it, because the Basement Boys are trapped in an abandoned amusement park and need your help. The best way to help the fun-loving horror fiends is by joining Patreon. By joining our Patreon, you get bonus perks that you cannot find anywhere else, including monthly bonus podcasts, vlogs from our horror collections, and exclusive movie reviews. Each subscription to Patreon helps the Basement Boys escape Old Man Marley's amusement park, and you can join by scanning the QR code on the screen or by visiting patreon.com/screamsfromthebasement. Thanks to our patrons for all of your support and helping out the show.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to 1990. Great year, 1990.
Great year.
The best way to kick off the 90s, though, is with our old pal, Frank Henenlotter, with Frankenhooker. It's the second film in our double feature, directed by Frank Henenlotter, written by Robert Martin, and the great Frank Henenlotter. The cast includes James Lauren as Jeffrey, Patty Mullen as Elizabeth, Joseph Gonzalez as Zorro. Sam, what the hell is Frankenhooker?
Professional creep / electrician / kind of doctor Jeffrey Franken builds his father-in-law self-driving lawnmower that promptly eats his girlfriend up and spits her out in little pieces all over a birthday party. He then collects the pieces, brings them home, keeps them in a giant freezer tub thing. What do you call those? Standing freezers?
Chest freezer, yeah.
Chest freezers, yeah. And
emphasis on chest in this movie.
Yes. And yeah, he hatches a plan to use the parts of sex workers to build a new body for his fiance and bring her back to life. And of course, that goes disastrously. Frankenhooker. One of the
I,
best social commentaries wrapped up in shitty B movie I've ever seen.
I do have to correct you on one thing in your intro there about what happens to Elizabeth. She's not just eaten by a lawnmower. Okay? She's tossed into the air like a human salad. Her personality scattered everywhere.
A human salad that was once named Elizabeth.
Frankenhooker. For me, history-wise on this movie, this was, of the big three Henenlotter movies, that being Basket Case, Brain Damage, and Frankenhooker, this was the last of the three that I watched.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
Basket Case was my introduction to Frank Henenlotter. Then followed it up with Brain Damage and then Frankenhooker, and I'm like, this guy just knows how to make grindhouse exploitation movies with something to say in each one of those movies. One of the best to do it. Arguably, I would probably put him on my Mount Rushmore of like B movie directors.
Yeah.
Like grindhouse exploitation, that type of director, I would probably have him up there. I think Frank Henenlotter is one of the greatest of all time to do this.
I 100% agree. Yeah, my history with this is like the opposite. I watched this before I'd seen any other Frank Henenlotter movie. I watched this purely because of the title. Um, I mean, I love a good
Obviously.
Frankenstein
Yeah.
take, and like Frankenhooker, I'm like, there's no way I'm not gonna get some kind of enjoyment out of this. But I expected something garbage. Like I really did. With a title like that, you expect like shot on video, like direct to sci-fi channel bullshit. Like that is what I expected. And I was shocked at how like this is low budget, but I was shocked at how well it was done. Like the lighting, the production design in this movie is actually incredible. Like the performances are really good. The social commentary in this is insane. And like I loved this and I probably watched it three or four times before you and I'll credit Tom Devine with this too, and a few other people were like, okay, like if you like Frankenhooker that much, you have to watch the other Frank Henenlotter movies because they're great. And so I went on to watch Basket Case and Brain Damage, and I still haven't watched either of the Basket Case sequels, but they are in my DVD closet ready for a viewing sometime. But I love Frank Henenlotter. I agree. I think he's 100% one of the best B movie exploitation movie directors that there is. And I think it's because he brings that social awareness to every single one of his movies. And it's not overt, it doesn't hit you over the head with it, but like it's there. And if you don't want to engage with it in that way and just watch like a fun schlocky horror comedy, you can. And if you want to engage with it on a deeper level, there's a lot to explore there. And I love that. I yeah, I just think he's great.
Yeah. I mean, we obviously love him. The state has done those three Frank Henenlotter movies. We've been lucky enough to host two of them.
Yep.
We hosted Basket Case 2 years ago
Yeah.
now, and then this past October we hosted Frankenhooker, which was so much fun. Sam dressed up
Probably
in full Elizabeth
makeup.
Frankenhooker garb.
Yeah.
I had my Jeffrey doctor's clothes on. It was a blast. Sam was
Yeah.
walking up and down the streets asking if anyone had you got any money?
Oh my god, yeah. That was
You
probably my
want a
favorite
date?
late night that we've hosted so far.
Crowd loved
Um
it. It's a total crowd pleaser.
Someone hugged me after that screening and said thank you. And I was like, I
Don't
wasn't
thank me.
expecting that
Thank
from a
Frank.
movie. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that from playing Frankenhooker of all movies for that to be like a thanks, but I was like, you know what? You're cool.
here's the thing. I assume, and not to like put something out into someone else's mouth or mind, I assume they probably went into that movie though, like you did, of, oh, this is probably just a schlocky, low budget, gross out horror film, which it is. But
Yep.
again, it's so well made. It's so much more than that. It knows exactly what type of movie this is. It knows that it is that.
Yeah.
He's like, but what can I do with that? I have $100,000 to make this movie. How can I make it look like it's the story of a $10 million movie?
Yeah. And I think it does. Like, yes, okay, some of the practical effects are cheap, but like to me that's part of the like DIY aspect of this movie that makes it endearing. Like
Like,
the
does it
cuts
matter
to
when we get to the climactic hookers blowing up on Super Crack scene that it's very clearly like they're blowing up
like
JC Penney's
mannequins essentially.
mannequins?
Yeah.
Does that
No,
matter?
it
No.
doesn't it doesn't because it just like it it still plays like it's supposed to. Like it doesn't detract from the tone. It doesn't do like in the laboratory afterwards where he's got like a giant silver platter of just severed breasts. It's like those are clearly just cheap plastic like, or rubber or whatever, but it's hilarious.
Or a
Like
bin
it's
full of
so
legs.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, if you made these look more realistic, I don't think this movie would have the same tone. Like I think the like the cheapness of the body parts is kind of what makes this movie so funny as opposed to just a little funny.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So when the movie opens, we got to talk about the opening of this movie. Jeffrey,
Yeah.
who I think James Lauren is so good in this movie.
Yeah.
He's for sure giving off like Herbert West vibes, like Jeffrey Combs vibes. But also, like, if you've seen any other work that James Lauren has done, Street Trash being one of them. Again, very, very ingrained into that 1980s, early 90s underground New York film scene. Very much acting very similar to Jeffrey. Not
Yeah.
not that hard for him to jump into this character of the eccentric
Yeah.
kind of, scrawny weirdo.
Well, and like so much of this movie is him talking to himself. Like this movie hinges on him being entertaining and sympathetic enough for you to follow along with, but also just twisted enough for you to feel a little bit of catharsis when he
Yeah.
meets his comeuppance at the end. It's like it's a tightrope performance.
We'll talk about that because I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm kind of two minds at the end. We'll talk about it though, because I think
I love the end.
I do too. I don't know. Maybe we can just talk through it. But Jeffrey here at the beginning, I mean, he's like the opening reminds me so much of Honey I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah, it is.
Like he has such a Rick Moranis vibe.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think like just this endearing weirdo scientist that is making all these weird gadgets and different things. He's messing with this brain with one eye
Yep.
to start the movie. Builds
Iconic.
like this robotic remote controlled lawnmower for his future father-in-law.
Yep. And Elizabeth stands in front of it and turns it on. And he literally is like sitting there. He's so underplaying every line that he has in this scene because like
It's like,
when
don't
she's
just
like,
stand in
"Jeffrey,
front of it.
Jeffrey built this for you. You never have to even get behind it." And he goes, "Thank you, Jeffrey." And Jeffrey just goes, "Please, I don't want any credit. This is your day." Like I'm like, what? Being thanked for a birthday gift is not like. It was just that line cracks me
humble.
up, and then yeah, his whole little like, well, don't stand in front of it, and it's almost Gene Wilder from Willy Wonka-esque.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. Underplaying
Wait.
everything.
Stop! Don't.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
so much just pretzel shaming here for Elizabeth.
Yeah. Okay, so
It's a
we
trope
should
of
talk
80s
about the
movies
yeah.
that is played up here. Another example I can think of is Nightmare Sisters, where
Yes.
Michelle Bauer in that movie like literally has like pillows stuffed into her shirt to be like, she's the fat one, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah.
It's Patty Mullen has like some padding in her thighs.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, you need to go on a diet. Like, you can't be eating
Yeah.
pretzels all the time. You need to go on
And
Weight Watchers and seafood diets and
yeah.
have
Yeah,
Jeffrey
because she
staple
says
your
she's
stomach.
yeah. She says she's done everything. She's like, and she lists all the diets, and yeah, Jeffrey stapled her stomach. I didn't know Jeffrey was a doctor. But like it's always struck me as odd, and it's so funny because it's pretzels. Everybody's hung up on the pretzels. Ease up on pretzels. I'm like, when have they ever been the snack that gets you? I don't know. Like that's just weird. But it does come into play later where she's like as Frankenhooker is at a bar. And obviously bars have pretzels because it's like salty snacks, right? Gotta soak up all that alcohol. And she's like shoving pretzels into her mouth, and someone says, ease up on the pretzels, and she just growls at him with like the pretzels coming out
Yeah.
of her mouth. And it's like one of the best moments of the movie. Patty Mullen is so good in this. Like
She's so good in this.
she's the MVP 100% of this movie. Like James Lorenz definitely like he anchors it, right? Like he is the reason that the movie works the entire way through, but Patty Mullen steals the movie.
Steals the movie.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because she has not done a whole lot post Frankenhooker. She did this, and what was the other movie she did? It's another 80s, early 90s horror movie. Let me pull it up
Asylum.
Here. What?
Doom
Asylum. Yeah. With what's her name? Yeah. I think that's like the only two movies she's really did in this time.
Yeah. She
and I don't think
did a voice on Strange Toys in 2025.
Yeah, so like hasn't done a whole lot since then, and that's kind of crazy because I think she's fantastic in this movie.
She's so good, yeah. Yeah, so you have this opening where Elizabeth gets killed by the lawnmower. And Jeffrey's got like, and then it cuts to like sometime later. Jeffrey's got the newscasting of them reporting on her death stashed away in a book on VHS, and he watches it, and he pulls her head out of the deep freeze every once in a while to have a nice, wine and spaghetti
Italian
dinner with her.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, not even spaghetti, pizza. The grossest
all over his room
ever.
He has like in his room he just has this giant like a blueprint of like a human body,
musculature blueprint
on how he's gonna bring her back to life. All over his walls though are just autopsy pictures.
Yes.
Plastered everywhere.
So that's the funny thing is like it's like the normal boyfriend girlfriend photos and things, and then just like every third photo is like her on an autopsy table. Yeah, pretty great.
So obviously he took the head after the autopsy then.
Yeah, the timeline of what happened with the head is very loose. Because like
doesn't matter.
From the way the news report says it, it seems like the head wouldn't have even made it to the morgue, but we know through photographic evidence that's not the case. So it is what you can.
Last time I saw it was flying through the air.
Yeah. Why can't you leave people alone with their grief?
There's such heavy like New Jersey accents in this movie. It's so good.
Oh God, it's great. But yeah. He's trying to figure out a way to bring Elizabeth back to life using his doctor skills and his electricity skills. And he drills into his brain to help him come up with ideas, which is so funny. Like, I wish
the first time I watched this, I was like, what is happening? What is going on? Yeah, he literally looks on his little brain, like, diagram thing, model, and is like,
Yeah.
well, if I drill right here, that'll help
Yeah.
generate new idea. I don't.
And his
Get rid of
first
my
idea
headache?
is bad. So he's like, oh, I'll just go a little deeper. The hole's already bored. This should be easy. It's just like, oh god,
And
it's
he's
so
like,
great.
well, there's women in New York City that are already selling their body parts.
Yeah. So he goes and meets oh, what's the hold on. Honey. Honey is the she is also awesome. Charlotte Kemp plays Honey, who's like the kind
The
of
main
main.
hooker,
Yeah, and she
the one
just, I
super
don't know.
addicted to crack
Yeah,
and
I
money.
wish she was. I wish she was in this more because she is really fun and funny and just the whole time she's great. She introduces Jeffrey to Zorro, the pimp. In
My favorite character. I love Zorro. Like,
yeah,
for
he's
me,
pretty great.
because I firmly believe that Zorro, horrible acting by the actor Joseph Gonzalez. They go to Huevos Grande Bar and Grill, aka a strip joint in slummy
Yeah,
New York City. That's Zorro's hangout spot. He just hangs out in the bathroom of Huevos Grande, where people are banging hookers and doing crack, and he's just standing there with his giant muscular tank top on. And I firmly believe that Frank Henenlotter just knew this guy as an actual pimp.
oh yeah, like he definitely screams, I'm actually like someone in New York
A
living
dude
in
on the
these
streets
kinds
in New
of
York.
neighborhoods. And I just know Frank from the fact that he's always around here filming. Like, and I love that because he's in Brain Damage. He's got a great sequence in Brain Damage. Like he's actually kind of a kind person in Brain Damage where you're just kind of like, "Oh god, like when he dies, it's actually kind of harrowing." Whereas like you're rooting for him to die
Yeah.
in this movie.
Also, I'm pretty sure when we end up going to like the hotel where they bring like all the hookers, pretty sure that's the same hotel from Basket Case,
It is 100%. Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite thing is when Jeffrey is doing his like tryouts or whatever with the girls upstairs. It keeps cutting back to Zorro and he's just crossed arms,
Like
pacing
smacking his
back and
fist, like
forth,
this will take you forever.
and then he finally just gets fed up. What's taking so long?
Breaks the front desk.
And like, yeah, the whole thing where Jeffrey's in the room with all the sex workers and
Utterly awesome.
yeah,
Nice buoyancy too.
and like you get to the end, he has this change of heart, right? He's like, oh, I can't do it. And everybody gets upset because they know, everybody's like, well, are we gonna get paid? Like, come on. And so he, stupidly, after having filled a bag with super crack that will kill them even faster, he just like tosses his bag and he goes, the money's in there. And they find the money
Can't you see
and
this
the
is
super crack.
more than money?
And yeah,
Talking about
all the-
life. Yeah, he tosses them this giant bag full of money, somehow not
drugs.
realizing that the super crack's there on the bottom.
Yep.
The women get very excited for the super crack
Yep.
and don't even like. I've never smoked crack, never plan to either. But I'm pretty sure that's not how you do it. That like don't use this as a like a PSA on how to smoke crack. I don't think Frankenhooker is, because they're just like putting the rock on top of the glass pipe.
Yeah.
I don't think that's how you do it. I could be wrong.
I mean, I don't know. I've never done it before, but
If any of our listeners out there have smoked crack, please let us know. Are they doing it correctly in Frankenhooker? And please also get the help you need.
oh, I was gonna say, hook me up.
Frankenhook him up.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
But
This whole scene
they start
is
putting
just...
on like he says like the devil's music. Like they start putting on like some fun dance music. It's like, don't do that.
they're taking off all like what little clothes they have left on and like making out and doing all this crack, and then one of them starts feeling a little upset in the tummy, and they explode 7 hookers. And the final one, there's some great shots in this. The POV shot that's like hooked on the leg as it like
goes
hits
flying
a lamp.
at the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the final like I believe it's actually the honey who's like coming towards the door, and she explodes right as Zorro busts in, and her head just comes and like punk, conks him out. It's so funny. So good. Like, I mean, it's one of those like it's one of those sequences where you can tell someone, yeah, there's a scene halfway through the movie where 7 hookers explode and it's crazy. And
yeah, we
people
can't
will be like, oh yeah, okay. And then they'll go see it, and like it's even better than like what you've heard.
Yeah, us talking about it on a podcast cannot do this scene justice. It just can't.
I brought 3 people to our Frankenhooker screening aside from Maria. I brought both of Maria's sisters and Maria's sister's boyfriend, all of whom had never seen this movie, don't really watch a lot of horror, don't really watch a lot of these types of movies, but I was like, this one you have to see. Like, it is exquisite. And this scene, I could hear my Maria's sister's boyfriend just like dying laughing the entire way through. And I mean, like, it is just top tier horror comedy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
There's nothing else like it.
No. Also, I don't want to spoil anything for anyone who hasn't seen Begonia, which I know is also you. But between some of the similarities between Frankenhooker and Poor Things and one specific scene in Begonia, I swear to God, Yorgos has to be a Frankenhooker fan. Like, he really does.
I would believe it. Yeah, that guy's a weirdo.
There's a gag in Begonia that is straight out of this movie. I'm not kidding.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, before we get to the third act, which is like the Frankenhooker part of the whole movie, we got to talk about, there's 2 scenes here. One is kind of like a thesis, in a way, of this movie. There's a PSA about legalizing prostitution.
Yes. Love this
featuring the actress from Basket Case.
Yep.
Apologize, I'm not pulling up her name. We can probably find it here. But yeah, it's a positivity on legalizing sex work, especially in New York City, especially in the late 1980s, which it probably should have during that time, because New York City was not a great place at that time.
No, not at all.
And Rudy Giuliani came in and saved it all.
Yeah.
Sure. Pervert. Anyway. But after that, during that like PSA, that story about legalizing prostitution, they show Elizabeth like walking out of Huevos Grande.
Mm-hmm.
Is that just like something Jeffrey's thinking of? Is he imagining that because of what he's doing, of how he's rebuilding Elizabeth? Or is she actually like one of Zorro's?
Oh no, I think that's 100% like a Jeffrey association thing.
Because it's right before he does the like inspecting all the women and they all blow up.
Yep. Yeah. So there's also Louise Lasser is Jeffrey's mom in this, and she's only in one scene.
Yeah.
But it is
she wants to bring him a sandwich.
It's one of the funniest scenes in the movie outside of the exploding prostitute scene. And that is like, yeah, she comes in, she's trying to make sure he's okay because he's just been acting so strange, and Jeffrey opens his fucking heart and bears his soul. Like, is talking about how he's going down this path that he isn't sure is the right one, how he is having trouble differentiating reality from fiction and right from wrong, and he feels like he's going crazy. And his mom listens to all this and then goes, "Can I get you a sandwich?"
Okay, so
And
with that scene, though, aren't you 100% on Jeffrey's side in what he's doing here?
in this particular scene,
Yeah,
yeah.
right? Like, he's
I
doing
mean,
it. He's genuinely doing it out of love.
I
It
do.
feels like Elizabeth is the only person, just gathering from that and what we got at the beginning of the movie, where everyone's like criticizing Jeffrey, like all his weird experiments. But she's not. She's like fully endorsing it. She let him staple her stomach. Like, she feels like the only person that has probably ever given him the endorsement he's wanted as a electrician scientist.
Kind of, but then like his mom is also like, you could have been a great doctor and all this stuff, you know? Like I don't know if like I don't know, like that's I don't think Jeffrey is a hero in this. I don't think he's a good guy at the end of the day.
No, I feel
I
like
do think
he
you
falls in
are
that morally
supposed to
gray area
sympathize.
in this movie.
Yeah, I'd even go as far as to say like he tips outside of the gray area at certain points.
For sure. I mean, he's still the mad
Yeah,
scientist of the movie.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
He's a sympathetic mad scientist.
Yes, 100%. That's the
You
thing.
see
Like
where he's coming from. Yeah.
that's where like that's why I say like it's a tightrope performance because he could tip one way or the other so easily, and I think the way he's written and the way James Lawrence plays him is like just perfectly threading that needle where you're never completely against Jeffrey, but you're
Yeah.
also never completely with him either. Like
I
you
think the thing
understand
for
why
me,
he's
maybe I
doing it.
needed. Maybe this is why I give this maybe like a 4.9 out of 5. You know what I mean? Like,
Uh-huh.
it's just one thing I maybe need a little clarity on from this movie. Is he rebuilding her with very specific body parts because he didn't appreciate her body the way it was before?
I absolutely think that's what it is. Yeah.
Because it's never explicitly said in the movie at all, though. Especially
It's
when
never
she's still
explicitly
alive,
said, but
right?
like I mean, I think
But the fact
yeah,
that he
like
staples her stomach, I mean, should probably imply that he was also at one point telling her not to eat pretzels and lose weight, you know?
see that's the thing. Like I do think that there is a healthy dose of misogyny in there, like in Jeffrey's reasoning. Like I do think he cares about Elizabeth, but I also think that he sees this as an opportunity to have the supermodel girlfriend.
To upgrade her body.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think that he is very much in this mindset of like
If I'm going
this
to
is what
do this,
yeah,
yeah.
and justifying it by being like this is what she wanted, even though like from what we've seen before she dies, like we obviously don't get a lot of time with her before she dies, but like I don't think she's all that like uncomfortable with her body in the opening. Like I think she's
No,
kind
it
of like,
seems like
well,
everybody else
everybody
is
yeah,
trying to make
everybody
her go
else
on
thinks
these
I'm too
diets. Yeah.
fat, but I like these pretzels, so I'm gonna keep eating them. Like, and so I think that Jeffrey has dual motivations, and I think that that's a very real thing. Like, I think that he is genuinely grieving, and he genuinely loved her, and he genuinely wants Elizabeth back, but he wants Elizabeth back his way, not
Yeah.
hers. And that's where the problem comes in.
Yeah, if I'm going to bring her back, I'm going to bring her back with perfect legs and huge tits.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, well, then, and that's where the ending to me is
Okay.
fucking brilliant.
Yeah. We'll talk about
So,
that.
yeah.
So
So,
when she's finally brought back to life
mhm,
and we get great score with her walking out of Jeffrey's
yeah,
shed after she comes
yeah,
and her walking
it's,
down the street heading towards New York City.
yep,
Literally asking every guy, "Want a date? You got any money?
calling him Jersey Boy, and
Jersey
yeah,
boy, looking for some action?"
the like the subway where everybody's like, and here's the thing too, like, there are a lot of people who give this like a queer or a trans reading because of like things like the subway. where she's on there and people are like pulling other people away as if she's like contagious, as if she's like, you're gonna catch something from her. I think there's even like some line of ADR somewhere in there that's like, don't come too close, she might be contagious. And there's like, there's a real thing, like, especially at that time, around the gay community, around the trans community, just the queer community in general, where there was a stereotype about that, and you, like, yeah, like, this is something
Well, yeah,
that probably
100%.
happened
I mean,
a lot on trains in New York City at this time.
Going back to that our original conversation about Frankenstein, I mean, the original Frankenstein you could also read as a trans allegory.
Right. Because it's like a synthetic body. It's
Yes.
not the body that Frankenstein was born with. It's one that was built for him.
Built for him.
Like,
yes.
Yeah.
And I think it's even more prevalent, obviously, when we get to the end and the body that Jeffrey ends up in, whether one 100%. Way or another that you look at it.
Yeah. So I love all this stuff where Elizabeth is back.
Yeah.
And she's
I love this little
around.
dweeb that she picks up on the street. Oh, yes.
and she rides him to climax, and he explodes because of her electric hoo-ha, and she's just holding his severed head because his body's gone, and his severed head just goes, that was wonderful.
He feels like a Disney character.
He does.
Just a really horny Disney character.
And she goes to leave, and another guy like kind of forces himself on her, and then he gets exploded and his head goes out a window into a trash can, which I'm like, yeah, that's
this movie.
Okay,
this movie plays all the hits of Jason Takes Manhattan, but just so much better. Like, it uses New York City as an actual character in it, and also has a much better like head flying out into a garbage can.
Yes, I agree with that 100%. There's a reason that's a 3-star movie and this is 5.
That's true. She ends up going to the Huevos Grande, where Zorro is lamenting over losing his bitches. He says, 1 minute they're my bitches, next minute they explode. He's like almost crying at the bar.
He's literally grieving.
Yeah.
And then there's just the realization that he gets when he hears Elizabeth coming in, and she's doing the Jersey Boy monologue.
Yep.
And she says, Zorro says he only has 30 minutes. And that perks him up. But not before she goes and takes the guy that Zorro was just talking to a back booth, where he decides to go down on her with disastrous results.
Explosive results.
And then Zorro punches her head kind of off.
But before that, he delivers, again, a great line delivery of, where'd you get this arm? This is my bitch's arm.
Yeah. Such a line. So funny. And he's just, he's great. The scene where he punches her and, like, her head is hanging down and, like, it starts sinking lower and, like, her spine starts coming out of her neck, and it's so gnarly. I love it. And I love that Jeffrey, like,
the special effects, like, are kind of hokey before this.
But, like, these
But then
ones
these,
are great.
I think all the special effects on her, on Patty Mullen, are incredible.
Oh, yeah. 100%. I love the gag where Jeffrey gets her into the car, and when he drives forward, suddenly her head just goes back again. And he takes her back. He staples her neck with these giant industrial staples so that, her head can't get punched off again. And right as he gets her back to life,
somewhat normal.
Yeah, and she's a little
not happy with her new body.
She's not happy with her new body, which tells you exactly, like, no, she was happy with her own body. Other people were the problem. That changed it. Yeah.
Also, I don't think he had not to defend Jeffrey, but also he really didn't have a choice. Like, her personality went flying through the sky That's what the
Yeah.
news broadcast told us. She was a human salad. He had to make do with what he had.
Yeah, but somehow a perfect severed head managed.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, no, so yeah, he gets her back. She's not happy about the new body. And then Zorro comes in and just fucking decapitates him with a machete that he just has laying around the garage. And then probably I
The
don't know
most
if it's
basket case part of this movie of all the body parts have been like seeping in his weird purple serum,
and they got
combined into like
electrocuted when he brought Elizabeth
yeah,
back.
are now alive as these creations, these weird monsters of amalgamated body parts, and end up
Yep.
attacking Zorro and pulling him into the chest freezer.
Yeah. It's great. It's such a good. I love that sequence. Love it.
And in the end, Dr. Elizabeth puts Jeffrey back together using those body parts, giving him a woman's body.
Yeah, because his serum is estrogen based and only works for female bodies. So Jeffrey wakes up and verbatim starts saying the same things that Elizabeth did when she woke up. And in a hilarious role reversal, she just feeds him back the same bullshit that he fed her. And guess who's not happy about that? Jeffrey. It sucks being forced into a body that you don't identify with. And yeah, there are people out there that are, I'm just gonna say it, we support trans people, we support trans kids on this show. This movie is very trans affirming in one way. I'm sure there are other ways of reading it, but like, trans people deserve the right to be happy in their own fucking bodies. Stay the fuck away from them if you have nothing good to do or say in
And I
regards
think
to
that's
them.
the message of the whole movie.
Yeah.
No matter what. Because, I mean, Elizabeth she's been called fat, overweight, obese. Be happy in your body. If she's happy in her body, everyone else around her should have been the same.
Like,
and that's the
none
message.
of their goddamn business. Yeah. Exactly.
So, moral of the story is, don't bring your pretzel-loving significant other back to life using hooker body parts.
Yeah. It will not go well.
It will not go well.
Unless you want a different body. But I feel like there are easier ways to get that these days.
Yeah. Safer ways.
Yeah,
Jeffrey didn't
safer
go to
ways.
medical school.
Yeah.
Frankenhooker.
Frankenhooker. Yeah, I mean, final thoughts?
Yeah, but it's a masterclass of B horror. It's what everyone should strive if you are intending to make a horror comedy. Some would even classify this under that so bad it's good. I don't know. That term is just so weird.
Yeah.
Tonally, it just knows what it is. I don't think that makes it so bad it's good. And I think it just has a firm grasp on that tone of what it's going for, what kind of movie it is, and what kind of message it's trying to say.
Yep.
Like, I think this is one of the best examples of that. I think this and Society are the two best examples of taking that 80s schlock, those 80s tropes of low-budget 80s horror movies, and adding substance to them. Adding gravitas, adding social commentary. And I think Frankenhooker is one of the best examples of that. 5 out of 5 exploding hooker hits.
Fuck yeah. Cool. I'm the same. 5 out of 5. There's literally nothing more I could want out of this movie. It is very much a me movie.
Yeah.
It's my favorite Henenlotter. I don't necessarily know if I would say it's his best, because I genuinely think his best movie is Brain Damage as far as the impact of what that movie does, but to me this is my favorite. So
yeah, Brain Damage is not as rewatchable as
Yeah, exactly.
Frankenhooker.
Like brain damage is pretty fucking dark.
Heavy,
Like,
yeah.
yeah,
It's funny that you mentioned like this is like you wouldn't change anything about it. I feel in many ways like if you were gonna direct a horror movie, it would just be Frankenhooker. In the same way that I have said, if I was gonna make a horror movie, it'd just be Society.
yeah,
Like
yeah. Like
those are the
honestly,
movies we would make
yeah. This is
or
exactly
strive
the
to
type
make.
of movie I would want to make. Yeah,
Yes.
like Frankenhooker is one of those that, again, like I didn't watch this until I was well into adulthood. Like it was only a matter of like maybe 4 or 5 years ago that I watched this for the first time. But it left a mark, and I have watched it a lot. Um, it is an anytime kind of movie for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, love it.
Excellent.
All right. So second ad read, Fangoria. Fangoria, for over 40 years, has been the leading source in horror for all things spooky, horrific, and macabre. The famed magazine is back with a vengeance each quarter with brand new issues of Fangoria magazine, featuring interviews, retrospectives, and insight into the world of horror. We have an exclusive offer for our listeners to save 20% off their subscription to the magazine, the latest Fango merch, and so much more. You can visit shop.fangoria.com/screamsfromthebasement and use promo code screamsfromthebasement at checkout. Thanks to Fangoria for helping support the show. And you can see, if you're watching the video, Casey has the new subscriber cover, which I also just got. It is not in my reach right now, but yes.
I made sure to cover it. I don't know what YouTube will do if I don't. I know it's a mannequin, but
it is.
YouTube's weird.
I was a little, can I be honest? Like, they really hyped this cover, and I was a little like, if this is indicative of like all the posters that Faces of Death have put out where it's like blurred out and it's like too extreme, the theaters won't hang it, I'm kind of like,
yeah.
You know?
I mean,
like,
it's the marketing tactic.
It's the marketing tactic, and I get it.
Yeah.
I'm actually very intrigued. I've never watched the original. I don't know if I really want to, but I'm intrigued on this new one. Yeah.
I think I only watched like half of it, probably 15 years ago.
Well, I know there's a slaughterhouse scene that's like real.
Yeah, there's a lot of dead animal scenes.
And like I just don't feel like
real killing of animal scenes and then showing like fake decapitations and stuff.
Yeah. And I don't care for that as much.
Yeah.
So, and I know they probably won't kill real animals in this one because I feel like in today's day and age you just can't fucking do that.
Yeah.
For good reason. So cool. All right, Casey. What have you been doobie doing lately? You didn't update the notes, so I have no fucking clue now.
It's gonna be a surprise. All these are gonna be a surprise for you. A couple of things that we've doobie done together. We'll start with those.
Yeah.
We've been guests on a couple podcasts.
Yeah, we have.
Recently. We joined the Baron's Hideout podcast. Shout out Baron's Hideout podcast.
Yeah.
For Big D's pick of Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls. A movie that's been on our watch list for a while. This was a Screambox original, I believe.
Yep.
Came out 2023, directed by Andrew Bowser, starring Andrew Bowser as Onyx the Fortuitous, who was this online character, started on YouTube. I remember him from his video of "Notice me, senpai, notice me." This is not what I expected this movie to be in such a good way.
Yeah. It's tons of fun.
Yeah, I expected a fun, like, little horror comedy, but I did not expect it to be, like, a full-on character movie. If that makes sense. Like, it just doesn't feel like we get a whole lot of character movies.
Yeah. But, like, this cast of characters, like, they're all very memorable. They all have their own arcs in a certain way, and, like, this is a really satisfying little horror comedy. And
it's so fun.
Really
I want more tales of Onyx the Fortuitous. I need more Onyx in my life.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So go check out our guest appearance on the Baron's Hideout to hear our full thoughts on Onyx the Fortuitous. Also rewatched the great Chopping Mall
Yeah.
for our guest appearance on the Bear Cave of Terror podcast.
Yeah, shout out to Bear Cave of Terror and Steve Mowry. They are great.
And we exposed Steve to the greatness that is Chopping Mall for the first time.
Yeah. And he obviously loved it, because who doesn't?
Because it's Chopping Mall.
Yeah. And it was such a fun conversation. Casey and I had both been on Steve's podcast solo prior to this. This is our first time being on that show as a duo, and it was a ton of fun. I don't think Steve knew what he was getting into when he had both of us on the show at the same time. So we were nice. We were good.
I mean, we've been talking for an hour and 45 minutes about Frankenhooker and Bride of Frankenstein. You got to know what you're getting into.
Yep.
Continuing my watch through the Scary Movies. Watched Scary Movie 2 and 3.
Nice.
Scary Movie 2 is one that kind of like lessons for me each time I watch that one.
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
I think it might be my least favorite.
Interesting. I haven't watched 4 and 5 in a very long time. The first 3 I watched pretty regularly.
Yeah, 5 is the one that I'm like, I don't remember enough about it. It's probably the worst one. I just haven't watched it enough to like declare like it's my least favorite. But I at least remember a lot more from 4 than I do 2. You know?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm planning to watch 4 and 5 before the new one comes out, because 4th I've only seen a handful of times. 5 I've only seen in theaters. The one time I watched that.
Actually, you know, I'm not even sure if I've seen 5, if I'm being honest.
Charlie Sheen and Ashley Tisdale.
Oh, okay. Leads. I've definitely seen it because I remember Tisdale. Yeah. Yep. Charlie Sheen's in a couple of them. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in 3 and I think just 3 and 5. Maybe 4 too.
You're right. Maybe 4.
Either way, part 2 though, it just feels like it lacks focus. Unlike the first one, like the first one is very clearly a direct parody of Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer, while sprinkling in other references. Versus Scary Movie 2, I don't know what the main movie that they're parodying. Is it like The Haunting? Is it House on Haunted Hill? Like, it's kind of taking that generic concept of not even strangers, they all know each other. Like, people investigating a quote-unquote haunted mansion. But it's not a direct parody of anything, really. Yeah. Besides, like, I think the movie really peaks in The Exorcist opening. Because, again, it's a very clear direct reference to The Exorcist for that first, 10 minutes.
Can I be honest? I fucking hate that scene.
Really?
I don't think it's funny. Like, even before James Woods was outed as a creep and a fucking I never thought it was that funny. I was just kind of like, okay, I get it.
I just here's the thing about James Woods. I love James Woods as an actor. Human, horrible person, piece of shit. Fuck that guy. But I just love him in everything. And I'm like, God, I wish you weren't a piece of shit, because you're so good.
Yeah.
I think he's super funny. He has one of my favorite line deliveries ever in this movie. When he sees her head spinning around for the first time. He walks in, he's like, fuck this.
Yeah.
After that, I think Chris Elliott and David Cross kind of steal the show in the rest of the movie. But yeah, it's just kind of scattershot and all over the place.
Yeah.
Part 3, though, I think is a step up from part 2. I think part 3 is pretty fun. This is the David Zucker one, so very much has that same vibe of Airplane, Naked Gun.
Yeah.
Into that camp of parody.
I actually like 3 quite a bit.
Yeah. And again, this one, it has a focus. It's Signs, it's The Ring, and it's 8 Mile. And it's all 3 of those put together perfectly. And also, the characters still stand out. Mm-hmm. As their own unique thing. I think that's what makes a great parody. You still have great characters. Like Simon Rex's character, he's still a character. He's not, just a parody.
Yep.
Same with Charlie Sheen. He's still a character in this movie. Not just a parody of Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love this movie. I think it's a ton of fun. I think it's Kevin Hart's best movie. Also, there's a Jeremy Piven jump scare that got me. It's not a jump scare. It's just he's in the movie and it got me.
Yeah.
Yeah, ton of fun. Scary Movie 3 rules.
Hell yeah.
Speaking of horror comedies, watched Anaconda from last year, the Jack Black, Paul Rudd,
I did
Steve
too.
Zahn film.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What'd you think of it?
I liked this a lot.
I did too. I was genuinely surprised.
I was too. Here's the I love the cast. I do. I love Jack Black. I love Paul Rudd. I love Steve Zahn. But still, those trailers and okay, we're remaking Anaconda, but it's like a making of, it's going full meta. What is this? What the heck is this gonna be?
You know what this reminded me of? Straight up, this reminded me of Without a Paddle.
Have you read my Letterboxd review?
I think I did. And I thought, because did you mention it?
My final line in my Letterboxd review was, honestly, reminded me of a creature feature version of an early 2000s favorite, Without a Paddle. But instead of Burt Reynolds, there's Ice Cube.
Yep. And it's so true, because it does. It feels like it's that classic story of adult, in this it's 40-somethings getting together and going out into the wilderness to follow a dream, to follow
that dream, that childhood fantasy that we never got to do 30 years ago. We're now going to do it.
Yep. And honestly, there were a few jump scares that got me. I'm a little bit of a snake phobic, so there were times where I was a little tense, but this is not going for tension. This is not going for the horror in the horror comedy at all. This is definitely comedy first. Probably drama second, spacebar, horror down at the bottom there. Lowercase. The snake handler, best character in the movie. So funny they killed him way too early.
Well, did you watch the after credits scene?
Yes, I did watch the after credits. Oh, that movie. It really cracked me up. It
was so much fun. I didn't realize how much I missed seeing Steve Zahn in movies.
He's so good.
He's so good. And it's just
thing killed me.
What's that?
His Buffalo Sober thing, where he's like, I'm Buffalo Sober. What's that? Oh, just beer and wine. And some of the liquors, but not all of them. So good.
Yeah. The last thing I remember him in is the Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies.
Yeah, because he was the dad in those, and he was really funny in those. He was really funny in those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. God, I think it's a ton of fun.
I did too.
If you're on the fence about it, go in with an open mind and just know you're in for 90 plus minutes of just fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, really I could watch Paul Rudd and Jack Black do interviews all day long together.
Yeah,
they are so funny.
Yeah. So funny.
All right, couple newer watches to myself. This one just came out this year. This is Shudder's The Mortuary Assistant. I'm not going to say too much about this because it's not good. The video game The Mortuary Assistant is one of the scariest things I've ever seen in my entire life. So listeners out there, if you've not either played the game, watched some gameplay, whatever, do yourself a favor. Turn off all the lights. Sit in front of your computer, TV, video game console, and experience The Mortuary Assistant. It's one of the scariest things you will ever see. This one, though, is just an incoherent mess that feels like it was so half-baked in everything, including the edit, where it feels like there's points where the movie just skips, and it just isn't that the movie skipping, that's the editing of the movie. And it's really unfortunate, because I like Willa Holland from Arrow. She's great in that
She's
show.
great.
I think
Yeah.
she's the best actor in that show.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Besides, I like the first season villain. What was his name? Like the Dark Archer. Remember?
Oh, yeah. I can't remember his name, though.
Yeah. I thought he was great in it, but of the like CW teens, she's easily the best out of all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. This was I maybe need to apologize to Markiplier for my thoughts on Iron Lung, because that is not the worst video game adaptation of the year. The Mortuary Assistant is here.
Oof.
With that being said, Shudder was kind of had like a little mortuary like playlist. So we ended up watching the Mortuary Collection. This was a rewatch for me for the first time since it came out in 2019. I think this is a really good horror anthology. Have you seen the Mortuary Collection?
I have seen the first 2 stories in it.
Yeah.
I did not finish it for some reason, but I know I've started it, so I need to actually watch the whole thing sometime.
Yeah, it's a fun little horror anthology, all by the same director, Ryan Spindell, where Clancy Brown is playing this like crypt keeper-esque mortician who's sharing these tales of death, love, cannibalism, all to this kind of understudy underneath him, a mortuary's assistant, if you will. Also features, and I forgot he was in this movie, Jacob Elordi.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And his sequence is the best of the movie. It's incredible.
Okay.
Won't spoil anything that he does in that. It's just, yeah, you have to watch it.
Oh, yeah.
And then last thing I have on my list, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, is a movie from 2015 called Demonic. Directed by Will Cannon, stars Frank Grillo. Also, who else is in this? Maria Bello, who was in like Prisoners. She's in the both Grown Ups movies.
Mm-hmm.
She's what, Kevin Smith's wife in those? Not Kevin Smith, Kevin James's.
Yep.
Yeah. This is about this police officer who investigates this death of people inside this house where only one person has survived, and they're on the lookout for the other 2 that have gone missing since all these people died. And in reality, it's kind of just this like paint by numbers haunted house movie, but it like mixes that with like police procedural, with like psychological thriller, mixed with like found footage.
Yeah.
So like the whole story is set up like we are following these characters, these teens, these ghost hunters that go into this haunted house. And we see that footage throughout the movie as the police are kind of piecing all the found footage pieces together. Meanwhile, they have someone in custody. They're on the lookout for the person they believe is the suspect that killed these people, and a woman that is connected to the one survivor. So it's kind of like this puzzle piece that us as an audience are trying to put together at the same time as these cops are. I mean, I think it's good, not great. That premise, that like melding of different type of ways of telling a story, from like flashbacks to traditional narrative to found footage, is the most interesting part of the movie. I don't know how they weave all of that together. Besides that, it's a pretty standard paint by numbers horror film. I mean,
yeah,
I think Frank Grillo is kind of that actor. Like, he's good, but it's not like, oh yeah, let's go watch the new Frank Grillo movie. It's like, no, he's just, he's good. He's white.
Serviceable. Yeah.
Serviceable. He's a peanut butter jelly sandwich. It's always good.
Yep.
But you're not really going to get anything else more than that out of it. So,
yeah,
it's good. I liked it. If you're in the mood to check out something fun, a little spooky, I would recommend Demonic from 2015.
Nice.
Yeah. What about you, Sam? What have you been doing lately?
Well, if you follow us on Patreon, you know that I watched a movie called Hot Spring Shark Attack from Japan. It came out last year in the U.S. This movie is amazing. It is a masterpiece on the level of Jaws for completely different reasons than Jaws. It is the B-movie schlock equivalent to Steven Spielberg's masterpiece. And that's about all I'll say about it. You should definitely check it out. It is one zany thing after another. It is low budget madness. Every cheap effect makes uh, it's just, yeah, the effects are belly laugh worthy. There is a mysterious himbo named Macho who just emerges from the ocean to fist fight sharks. Um, yeah, Hot Spring Shark Attack, Japanese movie madness. Um, it would make a great double feature with Battlefield Baseball. So if you're looking for something to follow up Battlefield Baseball with, fire up Hot Spring Shark Attack. It's fantastic. Also weirdly continuing, but on a different day, the shark theme. I watched Shark Night 3D for the first time. This is one of those that, like, when it came out, I just missed it, and I'd always wanted to go see it, but like it always evaded me. I'd seen clips from it. I kind of knew a little bit of the premise going in. Um, I This is not a great movie by any means, but I had a lot of fun with this. It's a shark version of a mid-aught slasher remake. It's got all the staples of that, like, era of horror, right on down to, like, fake hillbilly teeth and misogyny and all that kind of stuff. But like, it's got some good shark kills in it. A few really fun shark kills. But yeah, the characters in this are stupid and don't do anything correct at all, and they all deserve to die. But yeah, Shark Night 3D. It's fine. I watched Cold Storage, which is a new movie from this year with Georgina Campbell and Joe Keery playing two security workers at a storage facility that used to be a government bunker housing dangerous, hazardous materials and experiments, and a flesh eating fungus gets out of containment and starts wreaking havoc. This was a ton of fun. It kind of coasts on the charm of its 2 stars. Um, it takes some turns that, like, with a bigger budget, I'm like, this might have played a little bit better. I think sometimes the scope of this thing outreaches, like, what it can realistically do on the budget that it is. But I enjoyed this for what it was. I thought it moved along at a pretty good pace. Um, like I said, both of the leads are just immensely enjoyable to watch. And Liam Neeson's a side character, like a grizzled old agent who has been up against this before. But he's got a bad back, and that keeps coming back to bite him in the ass. And, like, his performance is kind of like a diet version of his performance in something like Naked Gun, where he's not quite going that zany, and you wish he would, because, like, I just feel like the movie could maybe take parts of it a little less seriously. It could have upped the comedy just a little bit more. But I really liked it. I thought it was a good time. So Cold Storage is out now on VOD. So and then a movie, I'm ending on a strong point. I watched a movie that I fucking loved. Um Casey, you know me. You know two of my favorite subgenres are catty bitches being catty bitches to each other while people are dying, and also animal attack movies. And Primate is both of those things combined. And holy shit, I loved this movie so fucking much. It is the quintessential rich people house porn. Deaf dad has a pet monkey that gets rabies and starts killing people. Like, the gore in this is insane. The monkey is practical. It's a guy in a fucking suit. Like, the lighting in this is incredible. The score is, like, it's kind of shot like a giallo. And I love it. I loved this movie. This might, like, honestly, Bone Temple, Primate, Send Help. This is like the strongest January horror slate I think that we have had in years. Um, I'm upset
Pretty
that I
sure I
didn't get
told you
to.
you were gonna love this one.
Yeah, you did. You did, and I knew I was like, and if it had come to any theater remotely close to me, I would have gone. But it
I
was
mean, it
in and
did.
out at Yankton. What do you mean?
Well, it was in Sioux Falls.
Well, it was in Sioux Falls. That's still an hour away now.
Every theater besides the theater you work is an hour away.
No, there's a Yankton one that's about 25, but I don't know. I don't like going there because it feels like going to the direct competition.
Yeah.
But anyways, no, Primate fucking rules. I'm genuinely gonna be surprised if I don't have these, like, if Bone Temple, Send Help, and Primate are not on my top 10 list at the end of the year, some shit's really blown me away in the next, 9 months? Because all three of these are like, God, these feel in very different ways like they were tailor-made for me. So, yeah. Loved Primate. Anyways, that's what I've been doing.
You know what else we've been doing?
Yeah.
Prepping for the Screams by Night halfway to Halloween Con. Coming up in just 2 goddamn weeks.
Yes.
2 weeks away from the second annual Screams by Night halfway to Halloween Con here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota at the Social, April 25th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Over 30 vendors, food trucks, live makeup demonstrations, horror guests including Doug Morano, founder and CEO of Bad Hand Books, Kelsey and Steve Livingood, which Kelsey will be on the podcast next week talking about her work, her film career, and her work as Mischief the Clown. We were just on Steve's show, Reapers Underground, this past week, so go check that out over on his socials. And then we also have our 1980s Scream Queens, horror royalty, icons of the genre, Brink Stevens, and Michelle Bauer, coming to the Screams by Night halfway to Halloween Con. Tickets available now, link in the episode description, or head over to screamsfromthebasement.com and you can get your tickets there. Gonna be a great time. Also, Sam, what do we have the night before?
We have a screening of Sorority Babes in the Slime Ball Bolorama, which Casey has a super cool Blu-ray of now. Yeah, with Brink and Michelle in attendance, super doing cool a post-screening Q&A. Blu-ray. Hell yeah. Yeah, that'll be at the State Theater the Friday before, April 24th, 7 p.m. Meet and greet before, post Q&A after. Hence the post.
Get your tickets.
Yeah, get your tickets.
Let's pack the State Theater.
We are selling quite a few already, so
yeah, let's pack it. Get your tickets now before it does sell out.
Yeah. I'm not gonna call it early, but like this has a potential to sell out. So we had very few tickets left for our Toxic Avenger screener last year. So yeah. Anyways.
Also, like, if you are, I'm just throwing this out there, if you are just coming to the Screams by Night just to meet Brink and Michelle, which is cool, it's cheaper to come to Sorority Babes and the Slimeball Bolorama to meet them. Just saying.
100%.
Just saying. I don't know. And you get to watch the movie with them and have a Q&A. I'm just saying, there's a win-win. There's a win-win.
Yeah. But also come to the con. Because honestly, like, even if you only know of Brink and Michelle being there, like, we have so many cool vendors and guests that you are guaranteed to love if you love movies that they are in. So, yeah.
Yeah, gonna be a good time. It's celebrating all things horror, Halloween, all for a good cause. We're excited. We're pumped.
Yes.
Silent auction coming up too. We need to work on that. Silent auction going with proceeds going to the Transformation Project. We have a lot of cool things we have on board for that. So
shitloads of cool things.
Maybe I should show off. Great. Should I show off one of them? I do have one thing right next to me.
Yeah, one thing. Let's do it. Tease them.
This will be in the silent auction, by the way, people. Speaking of the Toxic Avenger, signed Melvin,
by Mark Torgel,
the Mop Boy, Mark Torgel, Melvin, Toxic Avenger action figure, signed by the man, the myth, the Mop, Mark Torgel. Gonna be available just at the silent auction. All proceeds will go to Transformation Project. So this is awesome. Will be one of our featured items at the auction.
Yes. Big thanks to Mark Torkel for doing that for us.
Yeah. Also, I think we might have it might not be the only autographed thing. I have to look through my stuff. Yeah. We might have a half-naked picture of CJ Graham at the auction, if I can find it. Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody, this has been Screams from the Basement.
Oh, we gotta get the rest of our plugs out.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was going for. That's what I was going into. Don't worry. I'm not skipping the rest of the plugs. We've been Screams from the Basement. Bye. Subscribe on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube if you like that video component. Be sure to hit that bell icon. Give us a thumbs up or a 5-star review, or just anything. Comment, like,
interact.
Just let us know that you're listening. We like to know that you're listening. And you can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and TikTok, where we post about all of our episodes so you never miss those, and events like Screams by Night, so you get updates on that stuff. Casey, if they want to support the show monetarily, how can they do that?
There are plenty of ways to do that. Again, you can join our Patreon for as little as $1 a month. You can help support the Basement Boys. $5 a month gets you bonus episodes each and every month. This month's bonus episode will be us recapping the Screams by Night halfway to Halloween Con weekend. So Sam and I will be talking about that in depth, how the weekend went. Dear God, I hope it's going to no, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. We'll do a fun little recap, show off our hauls. I mean, that's going to be a big part of it too. So yeah, that's our Patreon bonus episode here for the month of April. Also, check out our merch at tpublic.com. Links in the episode description for exclusive Screams from the Basement merch, or hit us up at our merch table at the Sioux Falls State Theater and at the Screams by Night halfway to Halloween Con to pick up our merch stand exclusive t-shirts. Heavy metal inspired Screams from the Basement t-shirts available at the Sioux Falls State Theater when we're there hosting late night at the State, and at the Screams by Night halfway to Halloween Con. Also, check out our commercial for the Screams by Night halfway to Halloween Con airing on Svengoolie.
Yeah, and Late Night with Seth Meyers, right?
And Late Night with Seth Meyers.
Yeah. For all you fellow white liberals out there like me who get my news from my late night talk show hosts.
If you don't know who Seth Meyers is, he's Josh Meyers' brother.
Yeah, he's Gavin Newsom's brother.
Gavin Newsom's little brother. Or older brother. I don't know which one's older.
I don't know either. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Screams from the Basement. Reminder that we always support trans youth. Fuck ICE, get them out of our cities and airports. Horror has always been political and queer. And thanks for tuning in. And sweet screams.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal, providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.